Hey guys, I'm back, and I know it's been such a long time since I uploaded a video, but I have so much content that I'm ready to share with you guys. So in this video, I'm going to be doing a glueless quick weave, which is essentially a version of a quick weave that's not the liquid cap. So as you see, I am placing this Sanex strips on my client's hair, and then for the outline I used a Sharpie just to dot so I can see exactly where the leave out is versus where the cap is and where the Sanex strip is. So after I do that, I can go ahead and stitch this cap down. This video is quite lengthy because it is truly step by step. You honestly get to see me do the entire service, so nothing is left out, so you're left confused. I will preface by saying that in this video, I did not have it in landscape mode because I was also making content for my other social media pages, TikTok and Instagram. And also you can find me on those social media outlets at winks.inc, WINKS.INC. So as you can see, I'm just stitching this cap down, and then I went around her entire perimeter and she did a left side part. So I made sure that each strip was laid down flat and they were not overlapping, because if they overlap each other, it will create some of a bulge. The only part that should overlap is the part where the hair is going to be falling in the face, kind of, sort of. And then after I cut the cap off, I sprayed it and molded the cap with some Got2b. You can use Got2b, you can use even spray, you can use any kind of hard holding hairspray. Joico has one that I really like. I think it's like a level 9 hold, 9 out of 10. They have a really good one as well. So I start off each track with starting from the bang area, and then I wrap it around to a little bit from behind her ear, not exactly. I measure, I cut it, and then I put glue on the track. And then after I do that, I just see how the hair is going to fall in the face. When you're doing a side part, you really have to be meticulous with it because you don't want one side to be extremely bulky and the other side not to be. So instead of starting on the left and working your way up to the right, so how do I say it? Instead of working from the side that the bang doesn't fall on and going over to the side that it does, it helps you just map it out a little bit better, just so it's not bulky or on each side. I think I explained that correctly. If you don't, just comment and I'll explain. But that's basically what I'm doing. I place the first track at the very top, and then I'll come all the way around. And then for the second track, like you can see, I started a little bit above her ear, if that makes sense. I'm still trying to get a little bit better with these angles while I'm recording. I forget a lot of the times that I am recording, so it just is a little bit not hard to see, but hard to see. But essentially, I'm just making sure that before I even put glue on the track that I'm measuring out how it will lay, because that's most important. And then after I measure it, I cut it, and then after I cut it, I put the glue and then put it on the cap. I'm gonna just let the video play a little bit, and then I'm just gonna hop back in when it's something of some significance for me to break down exactly. So enjoy. So do you see how I have that track still fairly closer to her forehead? I didn't bring the tracks in between those tracks all the way up, and the reason why I didn't do that is because I didn't want it to look too bulky. So the tracks in between that track and the first track that I laid, they're kind of like stair steps coming up, but they don't come all the way up to where her leave out is, because you want to make sure that the tracks that you're putting on the bang side, they lay flat, and they also come around to the other side where she can either tuck it behind her ear, and that side will be flat as well. So you just want to measure it out before you lay it and just make sure it makes sense, because one thing that you can't do is go back and redo it. It'll give you a hard time if you try and do that. So everything is basically on a curved kind of level, and as you can see, I am tracing everything out before I glue it. You want to make sure you measure before you go too fast and add the glue on. That's the last thing that you want to do. And then my blow dryer is on a warmer setting. It's not completely hot and it's not completely cold. And then I did put it on the highest blow level that there is, because you want to make sure that those tracks are adhered to that cap. The last thing you want is a slipped cap. After I finished all of that, I went ahead and I detangled the hair, and I also put some heat protectant in it. And then after I put the heat protectant in, I made sure I went through with my blow dryer, and I really worked in that heat protectant. I never, ever put heat protectant on the hair and then immediately flat iron. It's just something that I don't do. I find that it leaves the hair to be a little bit too stiff. And also, the heat protectant, it has certain oils in it. So yes, the hair was freshly washed. Yes, I did use a texturizing spray leave-in, and then also another texturizing spray later on, so the curls do hold with memory when I do curl it, and even when she leaves, it'll still bounce back and have that curl to it. So now here is my favorite part of any quick weave or sewing, is the molding process. I am someone who does not like to use the slick stick on the client just for the leave out and just to mold it that way. I am a firm believer in using a mousse and Sanex strips to make sure that the hair is truly blended and molded. The reason why I don't really care for this Sanex strips is because I find that it leaves the hair a little bit too heavy, especially on a first install, an initial install. You don't want the hair to be stiff. You don't want it to be weighed down. You don't want it to be greasy. You want it to blend perfectly, and that's exactly what you're going to see. So I make sure when I take the braids out that I comb through. I'm making sure that everything is sectioned properly, that all the hair is covered for the leave out, so that you don't see any tracks. And then after that, I am going to go ahead and put my mousse on. For this service, I use Influence mousse. I have used Nairobi before. I do feel like the Nairobi formula has changed over the years, and it probably has, because nothing stays the same. But I just like a mousse that's a little bit thicker, that can really work with multiple hair types. And for this Influence Honey Almond Mousse, I found that it works the best. I've been using it for years. So yeah, I make sure that I generously apply it all over the leave out. And you're going to make sure that when you do this, that you work it in. So you need to have a fine tooth comb or all-purpose comb that's fine tooth on one side, just so you can work it in as well. My client is from Georgia in the chair, and when I put the mousse on, she was so confused. She was like, girl, what in the world is this? Like, I've never had this done before. She's such a sweetheart, and her name is Kelsey, FYI. You see how she's like investigating and asking so many questions. She was nervous and a little bit apprehensive with the mousse because she is natural, but a lot of people think that when you put the mousse on, it is going to revert the hair to being curly. But if you work fast enough and with a thick enough mousse, after you put those Sanex strips on and put your client under the dryer, it's going to be flat. It's not going to get super curly. It is going to have a little bit of texture to it, but not anything crazy. Like if you see, I put the Sanex strips on her and it got a little bit puffy, but not too puffy. You do have to work a little bit faster when you're using these strips. You are going to layer them a little bit depending on how much mousse that you did put on the head. The more the mousse, the more layers of the strips you're going to have to use. But I didn't put that much mousse for her, but I am making sure that all of her leave out is covered, especially in the back as well. You don't want any part to be missed out when you're doing this. And then I just took it, put it around her, and then after I put it around her, I didn't have to sit underneath the dryer for that long. I think she stayed under the dryer on a high heat setting for probably 8 minutes, if that. And then after we did that, I stuck her under there. She sat there for a little bit. And then in between that, I kind of just clean and do my little thing while she's under the dryer, because I like to clean as I go. So it's not that much to do once I'm done. And then afterwards, I cut the strips off. I take my time and it's flat. Ta-da. And I had her put her glasses on just so she could see. And you see, she can't really see without her glasses. But once she put them on, she was like, oh, like it's so flat. And yeah, she was like, I didn't think it was going to be that slick. I didn't think it was going to be that flat. And she was like, wow, I'm really surprised. So that's what that is. And yeah, so after I do that, I make sure that I go back in with the same comb that I molded her with. And I just comb out her leave out, make sure that it's really blended in. When you do mold the hair, you want to make sure that you're molding it and you're going all the way to the ends of her natural hair, whoever your client is, because you want it to blend perfectly. That's the only way that you're going to get that blend that you're looking for, in my opinion. After that, I went in with my blow dryer. So I don't really know why I go in with my blow dryer. I think it kind of just loosens it up before I put on the heat for the hot comb and also my flat irons. I've been doing this for quite some time now, and some stuff is just like muscle memory. So if you see me doing something and you don't know why I'm doing it, just ask and I'll tell you. But I prefer a stove hot comb over an electric hot comb. I feel like there's just a really big difference between the two. My stove hot comb, I feel like it helps with retaining the heat better with the hair. I feel as though it also lets the hair stay straight longer. I know no matter what, it's still going to stay longer. So I made sure that I really got her edges good. She didn't want too many edges out to lay her edges. But I just made sure it was natural looking and it was cute. And then when it comes to blending the leave out, you want to make sure that you work on the leave out first before you go to curling the hair or flat iron the hair, whatever you're going to do, because it just works better, in my opinion, when you focus on leave out first, so you don't have to come to it last, if that makes sense. If I'm being honest, my hot comb could have been a little bit hotter. I think I was working with an older hot comb. I did buy a new one, and I should have just used the new one in it, but I think I was still addicted to my old one. But when it comes to doing the leave out, I make sure that I hot comb it first, and then after I hot comb it, I go under the leave out. And I make sure that her edges, again with the hot comb, are laid down. So I molded it with the foam, I dried it, and now it's time for me to go in the same direction with the hot comb. And I truly go through each section and I section off each little bit of the natural hair, so it catches the heat from the hot comb. I know initially I did go over it with the hot comb on top, but then I broke that down into sections and I went through with my sections as well. You have to work in sections when you're doing leave out, because if you don't and you bite off more than you can chew, it's not going to lay flat and it's not going to blend correctly. So after I do that, I go in under the leave out and I pay attention to the actual tracks. I don't pay attention to the leave out anymore. I focus on the weave. So I'll flat iron the weave first, and then after I flat iron the weave, I will take a piece of the leave out, or the entire section of the leave out in that one area. That's what I'm doing. And I'll flat iron that all the way to the ends, and then I'll take both of those pieces, the weave and the leave out, and blend them together with with the flat iron. I don't know why I'm lost for words, but that's what I do. And I'll just follow that all the way through and just make sure that it's blended correctly, and I'm really taking my time with it. And then this is what it looks like, strictly molded, no slick stick at all. It is absolutely flawless in my opinion. You can use a slick stick after if you have some flyaways, and personally I never put the slick stick directly onto the client's hair. I'll always put it in the palm of my hands, rub a good amount of it in the palm of my hands if there are some flyaways, and I'll rub my hands together and then press it into the client's hair, kind of like a grease kind of motion. I don't know if when you were a kid your mom used to like put grease on your hair or whatever the case may be, just to lay it down. The slick stick can let the hair be very heavy, and it is an easy way to mold the hair if you are someone that does mold hair. But I feel like this way, even what I feel personally is, if a client comes for a quick weave or even a sew-in, and you put the slick stick on the client's hair first and don't mold it, or don't even do the mold method, when it's time for the client to take care of their own hair at home, it becomes a little difficult because the hair is already stiff and it's already a little bit more on the greasy side. But if you mold it yourself and then do the rub together method with the slick stick later on, the client can use the slick stick at home, and then by the time it's time for them to come back in for the maintenance, you can wash their hair and reset it, so it's not as greasy. They get a little bit more flexibility out of the style. It is a very natural look when you use the mold method instead of the slick stick or whatever kind of laying down agent that you use. It makes the hair just blend seamlessly. So I then go in with my layers. I don't flat iron anything yet. I do the mold, I'll do the leave out, and then I'll go in with my layers. I'll curl her, and then after I curl her, I will cut more layers in it. But initially, I always ask the client, how many layers do you have? Like, what is the style that you're looking for? And they'll tell me, I want heavy layers, I want medium layers, or I want extremely light layers. This, in my opinion, was probably medium, only because her face framing was kind of heavy. And I'll start off in the front, and then I'll lift up. I'll go into a 45-degree angle. I never really lift 90 unless they want that really big, voluminous, kind of heavy volume look. That's what I'll do. But I'm just taking her straight out, and then I'm cutting in a going downward angle. And that's just about it when it comes to that. I always cut first and then I'll curl, and then after I take the curls down, I'll cut some more just to see where that extra volume needs to be. But that's just about it. And as you can see, it's not too much, because if she wants to wear it straight, she still can wear it straight. That's what I like about cutting that way as well.
Loudest drawer, loudest drawer, loudest drawer, loudest drawer. Loudest drawer, loudest drawer, loudest drawer, loudest drawer.